Hi, I'm Sandy Schreck for LBR Educates. And today we want to look at another one of our color stories, and this is Garnet Romance. It blends that rich velvety burgundy tones and into magentas with more of a neutral shade. And so you'll see some of those creamy tones with some brown undertones on it that come together to create this really romantic and lush color combination. Today we're going to create a design that's going to be a spiral rose design. So we're going to do a dozen roses in a spiral, and sometimes people struggle with this. The key to it is doing your roses every other. And so I am going to use two color roses today so that it becomes really apparent the placement of that. And so you want to come in, start with your top placement on here, and you can see that I'm using a pretty significant amount of foam, but I've cut it level with the container. Today we're using the Oasis renewal foam, the new renewal foam that is biodegradable and certified. And so we want to come in and start with that first rose, and then I'm going to think about another rose going here. So here's one. Okay, then there's two. So I'm going to leave a space for that. And you want to think about the depth of the head. So I'm going to leave that. And then so I'm going here with my next placement. And I'm going to set this one a little bit further back to help to get that spiral happening. Okay. Then our third placement is going to come down in here. So again, I think about a rose going in between, and then I will come in with the next placement. So by doing this, you're going to be able to create some great depth and dimension with your design, and kind of rock it back and forth. Then we're going to come in to a focal area there, and you saw that I spun that rose to get a little bit more impact on it. And then we start coming out, and so you see how that spiral pattern is forming. I think I'm going to leave my last rose and kind of figure out where that's going to go once we put the lighter color in. So we're going to come in here, and with a less experienced designer, to have you pull that container right back to the edge, then you can figure out the height that you're going to come with this, and so that you can cut it the right length the first time. So with the two color roses, you can definitely see how that eye moves. And so we have the lighter color is going to come in and help to control that spiral, your eye placement on that. And then coming down into the focal area. So I'm going to bring that color down. You see how that's all working together. And then we're going to extend one of these out the side beyond here. And so you can see, like right here, lots of times when we're doing sympathy work, they'll do some kind of keepsake or something. Statue is really popular with this style design. So you could keep that open, or put some of your florals in to really extend that. So I think what I'm going to do is come in, because I don't have a statue, I'm going to come in with this a little bit lower there. That'll just extend that back. And then this lighter color one I'm going to come and extend the depth through the back there. So you can see how this all flows together. And then we're going to take our aganis and just reinforce that line. So this adds a little bit different texture, and it's going to increase the perceived value because you can see how it extends the lines and makes you feel like you have a larger arrangement than just the flowers. So make sure and use this, and you can see that it comes kind of bunchy, but what I'm going to do is come here and leave it on the main stem, but I cut down the main stem, and then I'm going to lay a couple pieces together so that I have a great insertion coming in, and it's not taking me longer, and then I can use this stem all the way down. I've got a couple of these side shoots on the bottom that are a little bit longer, but if you can keep it on that main stem as much as possible, and then other pieces, those smaller pieces, to lay them together and then do one cut and do this as one insertion versus two, so that I'm saving money on my labor. And so that's gonna be enough. With that renewal foam, you'll see that has that dark color. I cut it level with the container so that I don't have a ton of stuff to hide. But I am gonna come in, you can see just this lighter color sage is gonna come in, and the seeded eucalyptus just add an additional texture. But I didn't do a ton of greening to start because I want to utilize the novelty greens and have them be seen. And then with that renewal foam, you can see those, it just kind of disappears. That black coloration just comes off and disappears like a shadow. So there's not a need to do a ton of foam, and so I think that's going to be enough there. And then I just have a little bit of bay leaf that I'm going to come in and finish this off. So this will help to give contrast and give a little bit more reinforcement to the line and the depth in this design. Same kind of thing, I can layer a couple pieces together. Just look at where the normal breaks are and then lay them together to be able to be efficient on your insertions. And really, this is kind of all you want laying on the ground. So we want to be able to make sure we're utilizing those novelty greens all the way, not just cutting the tips off and then not utilizing the whole piece. So looks like our top rows spun a little bit. So I'm going to just take them out and put them back in. And there you can see. So this is our dozen rose spiral done with the two colors. And so you can do this just in all roses, or you can do this design with some of the mixed florals that you'll see in this color combination. So we see the rich burgundies coming in with the black pearl roses. We have 3 of those, 3 of the quicksand roses. Then mixing in to add additional value, some of the Sierra Sensation spray roses that we've got coming in, some of the brown Lysianthus, and then the value chrysanthemums that kind of anchor that look. And so using the same foliage, but here you can see And we've added some of the stock and the Ulstrom area to give some different textures. But it just gives you that different combination, kind of that asymmetrical placement of those roses so that you can have something different in your cooler. I'm Sandy Schreck for LBR Educates, and I hope I've inspired you to create some fabulous florals.